He's acting Attorney General. Tomorrow I'm instructing Dan and everybody else that's involved in that very complicated process, which is going to go, I think, very quickly, that we are going to make him permanent Attorney General.
Bravo, President Trump. Todd Blanche to become the Attorney General. If confirmed by the Senate, he will receive the nomination, and he deserves it. He has been moving cases along. We've seen Comey indicted. We've seen John Bolton plead guilty. We've seen the Southern Poverty Law Center held accountable, and he is taking the fight to the cartels and the traffickers. Even in antitrust, he's gone after the concentration in meatpacking and got the job done rescheduling marijuana. Todd Blanche will do a phenomenal job. We have spoken to him on this program a number of times, and we're glad to see him in Ohio fighting fraud there. Take a listen.
Today, the Department of Justice is announcing significant fraud enforcement in the state of Ohio, as well as a historic fraud-fighting partnership with state of Ohio officials, which is exactly how it should be in every state. Some criminals have gotten so bold, so audacious, as to defraud the government of tens of millions of dollars. Today, we're announcing charges that were either unsealed today or over the past week against 14 defendants allegedly involved in fraud schemes targeting over $50 million here in Ohio. Our message to fraudsters is simple. The Department of Justice will be working day and night to identify you, arrest you, and imprison you.
Joining us now, former federal prosecutor, current white-collar criminal defense attorney at the firm of Gregor Wynne, Michael Wynne. Michael, thanks so much for joining us. John Bolton pleads guilty today. You know what this type of negotiation looks like as a former prosecutor and current defense attorney. How does a deal like this go down?
Well, it happens when the defendant knows there's no alternative. The evidence is going to show what the evidence is going to show, which is that he is guilty. So he's going to cut to the chase, try to get the most lenient punishment possible.
John Bolton is a pretty smug guy. If he's taking a plea and paying $2 million, it seems he was clearly advised by counsel of a pretty high likelihood of conviction, right?
Well, of course he was. And $2 million, I don't know where he got $2 million. Be curious to find that out first. And also, look, Matt, he's a relic of about 2003. Everybody else in the Republican Party has moved on, or they have adjusted, or been marginalized, or retired. And even your Mike Pompeos, Marco Rubios of the world have moved on to an America first view of foreign policy. Bolton's hung on. He's a relic. He thought he knew better than anybody else. That's why he kept national security secrets forever long. He couldn't give up. And, he got his own comeuppance. He brought it on himself.
In a case like this, where Bolton himself was so critical of President Trump's management of information, again, President Trump had, of course, the Presidential Records Act that defined the appropriate scope of his conduct. But in this type of a case, what do you think the judge evaluates at sentencing with a guilty plea like this?
Look, he's going to look at that, or the judge is going to look at it, and look at it critically. And I think Mr. Bolton is going to be punished. When someone knows better, and he was in a position to know better, the punishment is more severe. All that's going to be taken into account. This wasn't a mistake. Wasn't a mistake at all. Maybe he thought he was hanging on some things to write a book in the future, say, I told you so. And they're going to look at that. And I would expect a pretty severe punishment, even given the guilty plea.
I do want to move on to the other big news of the day. Todd Blanche gets the nomination for Attorney General. We think very highly of him on this program. Like you, he's an experienced former federal prosecutor. He defended President Trump quite masterfully in New York. What do you make of the announcement of the intention of the nomination?
Look, I think it's a superb choice for at least two reasons. First of all, it ensures continuity right now at this time, kind of the middle of the administration. He's been handling the matter for a couple of months now. He knows how the president wants things done. The attorney general serves at the discretion and pleasure of the president. We don't have an independent Department of Justice. I think some prior administrations have forgotten about that, and here's the other thing, the most important thing. This is not a career prosecutor. This is someone who has seen the power of the Department of Justice when it's turned on somebody, full force, and he's defended it. He sees what happens to somebody. And hopefully, no, I think almost assuredly, we're going to see more sober evaluations of how to exercise prosecutorial discretion. There's going to be criticisms of flying out there already. The president's got him. He's going to do whatever the president says. Let's stop and think about it. This man does not need this job. He could leave into private practice, as you and I know, tomorrow, and be perfectly fine. He's not beholden to the president, but what he brings to the table is a defense perspective in the most, headline grappling cases possible. He knows what it's like because he's been there. And so he's the ideal person to exercise that power right now.
Todd Blanche has also shown, as the acting attorney general, a real understanding of pace. The requirement to not let the clock play you. He's moved key cases along, the Southern Poverty Law Center, designations for the cartels and Antifa. What do you think it does for the Department of Justice to be invigorated by a leader who understands you got to move key cases along and you can't just let them gather dust?
Look, I think it's great after the Garland administration. I've seen too many times. Gosh, I got one now. They've been sitting on in Las Vegas for 10 years. And I'm going to run AI to see if the witnesses are still even alive through the obituaries. I mean, these cases, problem is people's lives are suspended for long stretches of time until a DOJ makes a decision. Oftentimes you can beat the rap, but you can't beat the ride. And the ride is the tough thing. It's not right. It's not fair. If you're going to do this, you go do it. You get the job done. And the career prosecutors sitting on a case over and over, well, that wastes taxpayers' money too. I'm pleased and I'm eager to see what he does here in the next 2 years.
We are excited for the department, for him, for all the prosecutors there who make things work. Michael Wynne, former federal prosecutor, current criminal defense attorney at Gregor Wynne. Thanks so much for bringing your expertise to the show.
Nice to see you, Matt.